which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everyone to a special meeting of grant school board for the South special purposes, for general purposes, excuse me. And our first order of business will be roll call. Mrs. Orr.
Mr. Casey? Present. Mr. Dunning?
Present.
Mr. Duffy?
Here.
Mr. Marnelli?
Here.
Mr. McAndrew?
Present.
Mrs. Oleski? Dr. Rowan? Mr. Sheridan?
Here.
Mr. White?
Present.
Mr. Meek, present from that.
Next, we'll have a report from Attorney Menorah from our executive session.
Yes, in the executive session, litigation, real estate, and labor relations were discussed.
Thank you, Mr. Menorah. Now on to public comment, our speaker sign-in sheet. We have Gerald Hetman of Lackawanna County. Welcome, Gerard, excuse me.
Yes, sir. Oh, it's fine. Anything with the G or a J is good. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Scranton School District. Gerard Hetman from Lackawanna County. I know I don't normally address the board during a special meeting, but with the Labor Day holiday, I wasn't obviously able to make your regular meeting, so I appreciate the opportunity to just give you a few updates. We do have a few items going on in county government in terms of upcoming events, and I'll run through them very briefly. The first is coming up this Friday, September 18th. It's our 4th annual Senior Health Fair. It takes place 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at PNC Field in Moosic. We'll have over 50 exhibitors present. They'll have a variety of giveaways, information, and wellness checks that relate to senior health and wellness. We'll also have refreshments available, and we should note that the health fair is open to people of all ages. We gear all the services towards senior health and wellness issues, but anyone can attend and get good information, and anyone can accompany a senior friend or relative into the fair. We do get people who ask us seriously if we bar people who are under a certain age. That is not the case. The next one comes up actually the very next day. It's our 5th annual public safety fair that we call Heroes Day. It's Saturday, September 19th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Lackawanna County 911 Center in Jessup. Features guided tours of the 911 facility and also a variety of static displays that are hands-on, doors open of fire, police, EMS, and public safety equipment and vehicles. We call this an event for children that are young and the young at heart. We do note that it is the same date as the Race for the Cure in downtown Scranton. We couldn't avoid that because of a facilities issue at 911 because the building is in use during all different hours, even on weekends. But we start the event later so that folks can go to the race and participate and then come up, sometimes as exhibitors and many times it's just guests that go through the event. So we've never seen a problem. We've talked to the race organizers and they're happy to have us do it at that time on that day. Lots of folks, myself included, will be participating in some form or another at the race, so we're happy to not see a conflict with that. The third item is not necessarily a school district issue, but we have our countywide tire recycling event taking place this week. We have public drop-off hours at the county's recycling center Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and there's also about 5 or 6 different satellite sites around the county. We'll leave the full schedule with you. A lot of the municipal governments do host drop-off hours at their municipal buildings. Our Parks and Recreation Fall Fishing Derby comes up on Saturday, October 3rd, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Roy Sarnowski Park in Carbondale. It's $5 per child to enter. Children ages 4 to 12 are eligible to fish. And again, this is the one in the fall. The spring one is at McDade. So I think more district students probably fish at that one, but we still get a lot of calls asking us when is the one at Murley, when is it in the fall, and that's the date for that. And then our 7th annual Wake Up with the Arts Breakfast takes place on Friday, September 25th at 8:30 a.m. at PNC Field. Goes to about 11 o'clock. They always bring in a big name art speaker. This year it's an author who specializes in the artist. The topic is Under the Radar, the Future of Arts, Education, and Culture. It's a free event to attend. They just ask that you register in advance, and we'll leave the flyer with that information here for you. So that's all of our events. Comes up in a tight frame, I know. We come back after October 15th. We'll probably be here for the October meeting. But whenever the next meeting is after that I attend, we'll talk a little bit about the county budget. Obviously, October 15th is the deadline under the county's home rule charter for the draft budget to be presented. So as always, I'll give you my condensed budget briefing at the first meeting I attend after that date. So we'll leave all the flyers, and that's all we have. Thank you.
Next, Mr. Kevin Case of the Scranton Federation of Teachers.
Good evening, directors. I'm here to encourage you to follow what 2 state auditors have thought is the right thing to do, to bid out the contracts, service contracts in particular transportation contracts and any other contracts, I don't know, whatever will be manageable for you, maybe over $100,000, with the potential savings of millions of dollars per year, as founded by those two auditor generals. I would encourage you, someone under new business at a meeting, I don't know if it's appropriate tonight with the special meeting, but maybe at a regular scheduled meeting, one of you make a motion to bid out contracts, another one second it, and under Robert's Rules of Order, pass a resolution to save us, the taxpayers, to save the district millions of dollars. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Case, I have some questions for you.
Sure.
When we rolled out the changes in our general transportation contract that resulted from the plan devised essentially, Mr. Marichak, Ms. Bedlock, to change the bell schedule that would allow us to double bus.
Mm-hmm.
And the projected savings is essentially $1 million a year in the bus contract.
But is that 20% was quoted, something like 20%?
20%. No, 20% actually was that's the van contract.
Oh,
Van
okay,
contract.
okay.
The van contract was a 20% savings, as we see it right now,
I see.
at $205,000 per annum. So we've just, this board, dealing with the existing contract that we have with the Naples Bus, which is in effect until 2017. And a contract is a contract. Now, we were able to find that we could do some manipulation within the contract, but we can't break the contract.
I understand that.
And so, like, your repeated urging to the board over the last 3 weeks to bid things. I also want to ask, were you aware that we rebid the life insurance contract for the district this year?
Yes,
And were you aware that we rebid the food service contract
Yes.
this year? And were you aware that we rebid the plumbing and heating services contract?
yes.
And as a matter of fact,
And I applaud you for that.
I mean, so what I don't understand is these 3 straight weeks of meetings where you urge us to bid. I don't know what we have been doing wrong in that regard, because we really have bid everything that's come up, and we continue to do so. And I have to say, Kevin, I mean, you and I know each other a long time. We work together. I mean, you and I had this conversation in May. You actually said to me, keep it up, keep going. So I don't understand this tone change.
Okay, well,
I really don't.
can I answer?
Please.
The change? Okay. So I saw a van contract that was not bid. You made adjustments that have 20% savings.
Yes.
When the last audited year showed a 33% increase in transportation costs. So if it increases,
3% was due to student population increase.
okay,
Am I correct on that, Mr. Marichak?
Yeah, the number of vans we're using. We're getting more van transportation.
So I mean, the 33% increase wasn't just done because we were paying more. That was done because we had greater usage. I mean, Kathy, would you care to comment on that?
Yes. We eliminated 6 vans this year and put in 12 vans, and put in 4 minibuses to replace those. I cut 16 buses, and we're doing the dual runs, and we did save over $1 million. And I've also called other urban school districts to see if they fell with the state budget. I called Reading, Erie, none of them. They all contract out. They can't follow the state budget. I mean, the state board now. And they also said, I mean, some of the they're calling me back. Some of their bus prices per day are a lot higher than their pay.
okay. Well, I mean, I've seen the audits. I've done some research too. I've seen the audits: Allentown, Easton, Bethlehem, Wilkes-Barre, Harrisburg, Philadelphia, Erie,
And I saw them too.
Johnstown, Pittsburgh, and none of them. I don't know if 2 state auditor generals were just picking on Scranton alone, but none of the other districts were cited for anything like we were cited for.
That I made that same point. Why only us and why only Scranton and Allen?
I don't.
And I don't know, but I do know right now that if we submitted our usage and the manner in which we're going to be reimbursed this year, I have to think that the appraisal of Auditor General Di Pasquale would be seriously different than it was 2 years ago. I
Oh.
I mean, we're saving $1,205,000.
Okay, I imagine it would be. I guess my feeling is that what would it hurt to put them out for bid, just to see what it would bring?
Obviously, the general transportation busing contract will go out to bid in the spring of 2017. I mean, whatever the timely fashion on that is, I mean, I won't be in this chair, but I can assure you that that's gonna happen. That's not gonna be an issue. The point is, and let's go back to the van contract, because I feel we had a lot of work that we put in on this, because remember, when we have a special needs student, our responsibility for that student starts from the minute we put that child in the van till the minute we take that child home. We have a long-standing vendor who has done on that count of the manner in which our children are treated, and these are special needs children, where IEP violations start with the van and they end with the van. I mean, we've had a really good record in dealing with Mr. Lemoncelli. He came to us 2 years in advance of his contract expiring and said, if I can get an early negotiated contract, I can afford to buy the buses that will allow us to save you some money, but I can't do it without a contract in hand. Now, here's what had to get done, and I know you did it, Mrs. Colorasi was involved in it, and I know you and Aaron Keating were involved in it. We had to look at all of the children that we are transporting under special needs category. Which child can and which child can't sit in a large van. There was all kinds of time and great labor put into that project to see who can ride in a minibus and who can't. Essentially, we give a cab ride to the overwhelming majority of our special needs children because that's what the IDEA calls for. I mean, I can't see where anybody else is doing it any differently. If someone has a magic potion on that, I'll take it. Kevin, honestly, we really did a lot of work there. And I just don't feel that the criticism on the van contract is fair. I just don't think it's fair, not now.
It's a request. It's not criticism. It's simply a request to look at what State Auditor General said, 533% on the van service in one year. Just looked outrageous to me. I thought it would be a good idea to bid it out. That's, I don't know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for the time.
Next, under the consent agenda. Item I1. Will you read or Mr. Sheriff?
Mr. Sheriff.
Executive summary and policies is designated to create a process of paraprofessional hiring that will ensure not acceptable candidates that are advanced for hiring and consideration.
And that is our only item on the consent agenda this evening. We can vote on that, either voice vote or roll call. Dr. Kearney, how would you recommend?
On the question,
On the question?
I just need a second to.
Okay, we need a second on the consent agenda. Do we have a second on the consent agenda?
With a motion.
We need a motion on the consent agenda?
You gotta make the motion.
Okay, I'll make the motion. He's on the personnel, but I have to put on the roll on this.
Okay, so the motion on the item I1 has been made. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Marnelli. Having been seconded, on the question.
Well, on the question, I'd just like to say, I thought this was an item that was on our last agenda that we all decided to discuss, that we never really discussed about, because we really didn't understand that, what this was all about, correct?
Would you like to make a motion to table, Mrs. Oleski?
I would like to make a motion to table it, because I think this
Is
is.
there a second on the
I'll
motion to
second
table? Motion to table has been seconded. There is no debate on the motion to table. Mrs. Orr?
Mr. Casey?
Yes.
Mr. Dunham?
Yes.
Mr. Duffy?
Yes.
Mr. Martinelli?
the members of the Board of School Directors of the City of Scranton, it is a recommendation of the Budget and Finance Committee that the following is approved. Be it resolved that the Scranton School District authorize refinancing and refunding of the outstanding general obligation bonds as detailed in the attached resolution. Respectfully submitted.
Second. Having been seconded, on the question?
On the question, I would just like to make a point that this isn't necessarily authorizing it, it's just to get the ball rolling.
It's preparation stage.
Yes.
On the question? Hearing none, Mrs. Orr?
Mr. Duncan?
Yes.
Mr. Duffy?
Yes.
Mr. Martinelli?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mrs. Oleski?
Yes.
Mr. Sheridan?
Yes.
Mr. Casey?
Yes.
Mr. Delany?
Yes.
Eight affirmative.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Having been seconded, please adjourn.